Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Malta Vibes. Welcome to the B stream of Malta Vibes here, appropriately enough, for Group B. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Dwayne for today's action here. Just the one best of one for you before we switch over to the mainstream for all the main action. And my man, how are you doing today?
Yeah, look, really excited. We've got a couple of good teams here, a couple of nice teams in the opening best of one, and it might only be one best of three, or one best of one, I should say, on the B stream, but I reckon it will be quite an exciting one.
We'll take a look at exactly the teams that will be competing here in Group B so you can see the grand scale of how things are going to work overall here. Plenty of names you should be able to recognize in this one. Crazy, AGF, Hellraisers, and Honoris. Now, teams have been following quite extensively. Some teams have been underwhelming. Some teams have been certainly overwhelming in certain cases, and some teams have going to hit the money in particular fashion. And the match that we're going to be focused on here is AGF versus Crazy. Now, two teams that I guess you could say we're sort of fans of in this one, Dwight. I mean, personally, I am really hyped off of what AGF have been able to do in the last few weeks. So I kind of want to start on these guys here real quick because, man, what a run they've had so far. I mean, like Malta hasn't been their necessary, strong suit performance. Last week they went out last place in their group. But they did take some pretty close matches against Hellraisers and against Forza.
Yeah, look, I mean, you look at both of these teams, and certainly the last couple of months, they have heavily been on the rise. Now, AGF, I'm not really sure what they're going to do at the moment in terms of a roster, because they've now got a six-man roster. We obviously saw Chriso go over to North on loan, but now he's back. So it seems like it's a bit of a rotating six-man lineup at the moment. I've seen Dafu come in here and there. I've seen Chriso play here and there. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but I mean, we're seeing a lot of these six-man rosters coming to light this year.
Yeah, and it might affect the complexion of AGF going forward in the short term. In the long term is really where I think these lineups will try and work out well enough for them. So, I'll be curious to see who they're going to field here for AGF. I mean, I haven't been given official confirmation of the lineups. Like, we have the standard sort of like, this is who we think should be playing today, but we don't know if there's actually going to be an expected sort of, like swap up or anything like that. But you can see the players in this roster that are expected, of course, to be in this matchup. And, again, we've talked in individual sort of terms about this team and the individuals and the history between them. But, they're really, really working well as sort of like they're really sort of working well as a unit. And I kind of wanted to ask how that chemistry has come about over the last few weeks.
Yeah, look, I mean, it certainly comes like this lineup coming together, I would say relatively recently. We saw Netric, TMB, and Lucky only getting signed in like February and March. And it certainly seems like they're getting the opportunities. Like they play in advanced this season. Yeah, they didn't do very well. But outside of like advanced, it seems like they've been given some really great opportunities. We saw them in Winners League. We saw them in Home Sweet Home. We saw them in 9 to 5. We saw them in Week 2 of Malta Vibes. And it seems like for AGF, give them the opportunity and they can really show up. They've looked very impactful. And honestly, for me at least, they've gone well above expectations of what this lineup should be able to do.
Absolutely. Some of the results they've been getting is absolutely crazy. And even though they're not getting the victories on the board in certain cases, they're still having a really, really good time in getting us down to the wire and potentially taking upsets. And, Crazy is a lineup that they've done particularly well against in the past, but we'll come to that in a minute. I want to focus on this lineup individually here. These guys have been a little bit hit and miss for me. I haven't been enjoying them entirely. Like, they have certainly risen to prominence and done some good stuff that you didn't expect out of them. But I'm still not sure what to make of these players as, players themselves, because again, it's just a little bit hit and miss and sometimes not as always cohesive as I'd like to see a team.
Yeah, look, I mean, I certainly feel as if that we haven't really had a massive amount of experience casting this team, but you look at this crazy lineup and you just say, like, who? When you look at these players, because no one is really known on this lineup. The only player or the only person a part of this lineup that people have probably heard of in the past is Jonta, their coach. But outside of him, these players have never really been heard of before. So this project from Crazy, I certainly feel as if, again, similar to the AGF, they're playing the long game. They're not looking to see if they can bounce back with results instantly. Now, looking at their lineup, in the games I've seen from them, Sensei has been unbelievable. He has been such a standout player for me, not in the fact that he 30 bombs every game and he's a massive fragger with that AWP, but he is so damn consistent. He never has quiet games.
Yeah, his AWP skill has sort of been the main thing that stood out to me. Like, I can certainly feel if I could pick apart one element of this roster and say, yes, that's going to be the guy, that's going to be the next thing, or, you know, it's going to go quite far. If all the rest of the elements fall off, it's going to be Sensei for me. But as you say, like, it's certainly a long game, and I feel like building the team around him and adjusting and making moves around his AWP is the way to go in this one. Because, you know, some of the results have been a little bit good. Like, for example, their top 4 in the Winners League was one of the things that sort of really stood out. But in Clutch Island, the RMR event, they didn't have a very good performance at all. 9-5-1 was where they went, and I think they went out in the Swiss system, if my memory serves me correctly.
They went out in playoffs actually, so they made it like decently, but they only got 1 round in, so they weren't able to go any further than that. So yeah, look, you're certainly right. The results have been a little bit hit and miss, but one thing that Crazy have got that I don't see AGF having is the element of surprise in best of ones, mate. These guys are so good in best of ones.
There's going to be a best of one, of course, between these two teams to find out who is the better of them. The map is Inferno, and well, while it could be a decent surprise for the best of one, at the end of the day, AGF have managed to take a victory above Crazy. They played a best of 3, which went to 3 maps. The map that Crazy won was a Mirage result, which was 16-13, but AGF won 2 maps against them over on Train and Inferno at 16-5 and 16-4 respectively. So if we see anything like that previous matchup from 9-5, then we're going to be seeing a very dire time for Crazy Camp.
Yeah, look, that could certainly be the case, Jay, considering the fact, again, 16-4 on this map only 2 days ago. It's not as if it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks ago. It is that damn recent. And for Crazy, they certainly would have had an opportunity to be able to work on their Inferno after that game against AGF, realize, okay, what went wrong, what went right, what can we try going forward? But you've got to think in this veto process, AGF have come out on top massively.
Absolutely. They're going to get the CT start as well for winning the knife round. So, moments respite here to remind you that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, our home of gaming excellence. And I think a lot of people will be riding the AGF hype train on this one. Like, I think, you know, brand value for Crazy is certainly going to help them in terms of, like, turning people, the crowd vote to their favor. But in terms of, like, an analytical perspective of this, like, I can't really see a way that Crazy are going to win this one. Like, yeah, the upset potential is there in best of ones. Yes, it's the first game of the day, so they could be coming into this one fresh and ready to roll. But just the sheer scoreline difference between these two teams over on the last time they played Inferno, and the fact that they've taken very confident results against Crazy in the past, seems to indicate that AGF should win this first best of one, no doubt.
Yeah, look, you should certainly feel as if that would be the case. Now, looking at the lineup in that last game we saw 2 days ago, there was a little bit of a different lineup, but those odds from LootBet are certainly favouring the Crazy side, Jay. Okay. That's a little bit interesting. You know what? I'm going to go with a dark horse prediction. I'm going to go Crazy in this best of one.
Nah, man, I think AGF are going to have this. I mean, it is the best of one at the end of the day, which is why you can see the odds are so close. If you do fancy yourself to get some winnings in, then you can potentially bet and win on this matchup here via LootBet. AGF straight out into the bracket control on the DT side. Crazy going to challenge them ahead strong as Sensei gets that opening kill on Christo. He's on Froslave and Lucky back here towards the A bomb site. Lucky's going to get overwhelmed. Suddenly Froslave, last man standing, and Sensei rounds the corner. Deals with him. TMB also falls. Netric, last man left on the CT camp, and Crazy's sheer aggression has worked out for them really well.
That was fast, that was in their face, and it was quick. The trade kills, or the opening kills, I should say, in terms of the entries from the Glocks, came out almost instantly. And it's just a wraparound to the A-bomb site. We saw long presence, we saw short presence, and we saw apartments presence, and they all worked together, all very, very quick into the A-bomb site. And for AGF, they were trying to establish a couple of crossfires, but the Glocks, well, they just get overwhelmed.
Indeed they do so quickly into this round. Crazy are going to shut the round down and get a pistol on their board, and you definitely got to hope that that's going to be the start of good things here for the Crazy camp. Again, with the upset potential in a map up like in a scenario like a best of one, then you must imagine that Crazy will need to get things rolling very early on to have a chance in this one. The force buy will come through from the CT camp. Upgrade pistols, Kevlar and such, all the regular bells and whistles that you would expect out of a team this early on in the game. The AK is coming soon, and 2 MAC-10s for the Ts.
Oh, and Crazy. A little bit slower this time around going into the second round. And, well, MQ, just the solo play out towards brackets with that Mac-10. Straight away he gets punished for it, and that's a great opening kill coming out for the CT side.
It's only a Mac-10 that drops, though, so it's not a major frag. If they drop the rifles, then sure. So grabbing that Mac-10, getting rid of it, ensuring that the CT did not get the extra firepower to work with. They've got head Kevlar here, but the automatic weapons can still be pretty dangerous if you can rush forward and take the point-blank positions. The 5-on-4 situation now as the T start setting themselves up here. Utility comes down, smokes up as standard. The Deagle for FroSlave still standing by. CR4ZY drops into pit. Check out from the broken wall. The USP up here for Cristo. Dealt with by Toxic. So 4v4, the bomb plant should be received here.
Look, this could be the element they're not expecting. Good headshot coming out to the Deagle, and he follows up with 2. Not quite a third as the trade comes out into the 2-on-2. They've denied that bomb from going down.
Big stuff, 40 seconds left though. Crazy should be able to secure it in the end. They've got the back all covered. They've got the apartments control in. TMB is going to hear that bomb plant coming through. The Deagle will check it. They should be able to realize where Sensei is just off the sound cues and off the lack of any vision they're seeing onto these players. And there it is, nailed on towards Sensei. Doesn't take him down. Will do its damage though. Cypher got to swing and deal with TMB. The spray's manic, but it does connect to the headshot. The Deagle back on net trick, seeing where the man is, knowing roughly where Sensei is, seeing the shoulder bait now, but can't connect his shots. He's running out of time and running out of health. Therefore, 2-0 for Crazy here. Grabbing the AK and the Galil, so they keep most of the weapons in play, but they do take some casualties.
And that was actually a pretty expensive round, at least to start things off. It was a great 5-on-4 being established on the Danish side, but they just weren't able to continue the trade kills. We saw a great play coming out from Lucky to the apartments, but it just wasn't enough. And in the end, it's the rifles, the Galils that come out on top. And you've got to think for Crazy, that's a bit of a confidence booster to not go down in that second round on the Force. And going into round number 3, this should be a relatively easy cleanup. Not too many upgrades coming through from the CT side.
Mac-10 on CR4ZY, ready to round this corner. Flashbang from Netric could put AGF in to take him down first. They're not ready for this, the T side. They're actually going to lean towards the A-bomb site, luckily enough, with most of their main weapons again being over to the apartments play. Jump face from CR4ZY now. Flash is going over. He's blind. He gets 1 kill for it, so that's already pretty good enough. But now they know what's going on here. They realize the stack was in, so they should be able to get the bomb plant here on the A site. CTs will stack their way in. Probably go for a retake at this stage. They've got to buy up in the next round, so any Mac-10 kills will just be bonus money.
They might as well see if they can find anything. And for Crazy, all it comes down to is trying to defend this bomb site and see if they can hold on to what should be a relatively easy post plant. And AGF making sure that they're working as a unit at the moment out towards long. And Crazy, rather than kind of sitting passive on the side, they're actually looking to see if they can farm up some of these kills.
Yeah, Mac-10 for DemQ gets himself a 3-man. Lovely, well done there, and the money is certainly flowing for him. He can upgrade to the AK very easily and get the extra utility out, so simple stuff coming in. CR4ZY, of course, went down in that interim, so $650 for this buy-up, but still everybody pretty bolstered for the T. You should see a rebuy coming in if AGF are able to win round 4. And they could well do it as well. Orps coming out for Cristo with the defuse kit in. Head Kevlar for TMB, gonna waste a chance to get a flashbang, but alas, still pretty decent on the utility sets. And of course, the main weapons are in check for the CT side. Can they get the first round of the rifles?
WP coming straight into play for Cristo. Seeing if he's able just to find an opening pick, see if he can find something working around that bracket position to start things off. Banana control actually being established for the AGF side, and for Crazy, they're not even trying to counter at the moment. They're just giving up the control to the CTs.
Well, shoulder baits from Sensei, now going to flash his teammates into shore. AWP from Cristo still ready for it. Blind shot takes out DemQ. And FroSlave at the edge of the smoke, hearing Psycho making his way up, doing some damage to 19 HP. Bomb out towards shore. Lucky's ready for his chance to swing on. Pop his head above from the graveyard area, potentially waiting for a flashbang. Seeing 3 heads, takes down the first. Bases away, still challenges on Sensei. Sees out CR4ZY, can't support his teammate, but backup has arrived. And they are going to support him instead. 2k for Lucky, 2k for TMB, and a first on the board for AGF.
Oh, what a great defensive hold coming out from AGF. We see a great hold out towards that graveyard position, and all it comes down to is establishing some crossfires, seeing if they're able to bait out, positions. And for Crazy, the well, they've got too many angles to check and not enough players. A great opening round in terms of the rifle round going the way of the Danish side. And this is their opportunity again to follow up, get 2 rounds in a row, but they've got to deal with the AWP on the T side from Sensei.
Off in, scope out, shut down by CR4ZY. Christo to fall first here. And the information being given up to that T-side camp, they realised exactly where to aim to take him down. It's a bit difficult to get on that stack and not get caught up on it, so not a lot of breathing room for the man. And again, Crazy just going straight in with that aggression, backing off in the banana position, looking towards mid in the apartments.
A great advantage coming out from the T side as an overextension comes through to the AWP over at B. That is a good response, and really Metric, he should get traded out here, especially with a flashbang, and there it is. They maintain that man advantage, and now they've got a lot of options, Jay. They've got a deep player towards T-spawn, waiting for any banana aggression to come through. They've taken the apartment's control, so they can fake A and bring that bomb back to the B bomb side, or they can continue the A presence. A lot of options to come for Crazy.
And the CTs of AGF have the contact AWP play. TMB's objective is to get a kill and get out of banana. AWP facing in. It's going to be TMB with that frag, the incendiary, to keep them away. He's also caught the bomb, so he's got the info he needs. We'll keep his eyes on the backline here. I suspect it may end up being a wraparound from Speedway, but DemQ will take out CR4ZY. And now 1 player left on the A bomb site. They now know where both of the CTs are at. A 2 versus 2 has been traded, and time is ticking for Crazy. They're going to go to the AK, realizing the AWP could shut them down towards banana now. And round towards long is where they will contest. CR4ZY going to make his way up, and look, he's found himself back passive in the pit position. Going to wait for a bomb plant to present itself. Molotov into the back of the site in 10 seconds if he gets this kill. Now it's round over. Toxic can't get to the bomb in time. No, he's got it on his back. Excuse me. 1-on-1 now. TMB up for a retake.
This is very doable coming out from Toxic. It all just comes down to timing, the mind games. Does he realise that TMB is coming around from the CT position? As soon as he checks mid, he's going to know, okay, he's not coming from banana.
It's coming instead from CT spawn. The AWP not scoped in. TMB, the same pistols out. We'll see the man, and we'll tap up a few extra bullets. Toxic couldn't scope in time, therefore it's a second round for AGF.
Oh my goodness, that's really down to the wire, and that's a big clutch coming out from TMB with the AWP. 1-on-1 clutch coming through, and you've got to think for Crazy with that bomb plant, it's still not really enough to be able to force the issue. They can half buy a little bit, get some deagles and some Tech 9s out in the playing field, but no, they're actually going to force the issue here.
All right, it's been make or break time for them. AGF certainly would love to win this round confident, take away any agency from the Crazy economy. AK of DemQ here is the only rifle they have to work with. The nades coming out from CR4ZY is going to try and make good on the utility they brought down, but I love it coming out here. Tech 9s, Mac 10s. I think a Deagle in play for Sensei as well. M4 of TMB, blind shot, Ori tags up Psycho, going to push in, evade the flashbang. CR4ZY will not peek on it though. The CT is gaining a ton of banana control. CR4ZY just about escapes here, but TMB still presses forward. CR4ZY should be in with a sneaky kill. The over-aggression could get punished, indeed it does.
And unfortunately there for TMB, he doesn't really have any support. There's not a flashbang for him to look for any more information, trying to push forward. And for AGF, you've kind of got to think, was that really necessary, Jay, to go for such an aggressive play when there wasn't that support to be heard? And for Crazy, this is a few rounds now that they've been able to find the opening pick and grant themselves that 5-on-4 advantage.
Yeah, mistakes made, I feel like, for the CTs. M4 picked up. Netrix giving away info to CR4ZY. He's hearing that jump face, knowing exactly when he's going to start looking towards a stack and get a second headshot. 5 versus 3, and Crazy's forced by Mason will come out good here. Christo's got the AWP in check. Smoke down towards the cross. Good flashback to potentially blind them and stall for extra time here. CR4ZY will cross with the Bomber Sensei. Frost level 4, meanwhile, over towards the A mid position. A swing out from Lucky. Could get a player down, indeed he does. But meanwhile, the B site's been taken. It's a 4 versus 2. Plant to be secured, and AGF will have to fall back and save.
Yeah, they can't go for this. There's no way. 2-on-4, force buy or not, it's just not possible. Toxic is going to get taken down, so at least making this round pretty damaging to the economy of the T side. And for Crazy, they realize, right, we've taken down TMB, getting aggressive towards Banana. As soon as they take Netric down, they go, right, we've taken down 2 B-Anchors. There's got to be no one here at this B-bomb site. Let's just hit it quick. The rotates come out, but for AGF, there's even a lurker over towards that boiler position that takes another member down of, I believe, was Frostlive. And from there, that round's over. What a response coming out from Crazy. Now, I wasn't a big fan of that force buy, but look, you know, they had other ideas.
To be fair, though, a part of it, and I think most of it, was just down to the fact that AGF went way too aggressive. I think if TMB kind of fell back and waited at the wood stack rather than extending all the way to Arch, then he probably could have held control without conceding his life. And I feel like if that mistake was not made, then AGF would be in a much better situation than they are right now. Of course, losing that round, saving 2 weapons, but the 3 that went down are just going to opt for the full eco around this here. Kevlar and Double Flash is bought by Frostlive, but TMB and Netric, no investment here into this round. Nades up, orbs in, going to hope to hold something from a passive boost angle. You can see him towards the passive banana control. Crazy going to put the utility down and just play towards mid.
Crazy, a lot of the time their defaults are just constantly changing. So for AGF, we need to also see their CT side changing. They've brought the AWP over towards B bomb side. Great opening coming out from Christo. And you've got to think here for Crazy, now it's gone the other way. Now the advantage has gone for AGF, and in the back of their mind, they could be thinking, right, did they maybe force the issue here?
Oh, got the man advantage for the moment, but I don't think they want to press far forward with it. They've got very little in the tank to work with. I mean, if they wanted to force the issue and try and, you know, push aggressive and take players down, I mean, with a hard little time, there's no flashes to blind them off, so the pistols are going to be much less effective, as are the AKs and the AWP. Well, 40 seconds to the hit. Christo's going to reposition back on towards the bomb site with a boost-up player from TMB. The smokes have to come out, the flashes to go over. Going to blind this man off, and Christo got to fall back the second box. Seeing them come forward, the back is turned to them. Q and Psycho offers up his life. 3 kills to his name. The UFC still standing. Christo's going to get pressured, eventually taken down, and TMB forced off angle. But a 4-on-2 retake here. The CTs can make this work.
Sensei's picked up that AWP. This could be big, but the problem is the man advantage is out. Toxic with a great kill. Oh, and he follows up with the 2. Can he find a third? Of course he can. And they clutch out the 2-on-4. Yes, the weaponry wasn't there for the AGF side, but they still had an AK, and they had the numbers on the retake.
Brilliantly done. Brilliantly done there from the T side. And again, most of it was coming down to issues from the AGF camp. The issues are non-existent over at our case partners of Hellcase. Malta V and Malta V15 are your free money and 15% refill bonus codes, so make sure you get involved in that action. AGF need to get some action spooled up here. They are really sort of bottling some of these rounds here on the CT camp. You know, I mean, it was an eco that they lost there, but even so, could have been much, much more efficient on that retake.
Yeah, certainly, and that might be playing a little bit into the mind games at the moment for the AGF side, but they need to focus on this rifle round. Yes, look, that was an opportunity in the last. Let it go aside. Let it now focus on round number 8. This is really where all important. And one thing I might talk about at the end of the round is kind of some of the role changes, but look, jumping into the moment, Crazy, they've taken a lot of map control at the moment, and that flash is perfect.
Damage has been returned to the T-side forces. Crazy are still acting upon their A control. AWP and Vicente still firing away on the M4. Molotov, the Triforce looking out. He'll just fall back to position here. CT control now from the CT spawn. Lines up 2 big picks. TMB reading on Psycho and takes out DemQ as a collateral. And now Toxic is left alone. AK in, spray through Netric, takes virtually no damage and gets the kill of his own right. 2 T-side players now left. Oh, the spray blind is good from Sergis, but also onto his position. Body blocked here by Sensei, throws it off, but the bomb plant will still be received here. Either way, AGF in a much better position in a 4 versus 2 with rifles to spare. Sergis alone and 4 HP for 4 CTs. We'll get Netric for 1 frag, but no more than that.
What a great wraparound coming out from AGF to stop the T side from Crazy making their way into the B bomb side. Now, one thing in terms of roles, at least in the games that we've casted from AGF, it's always been TMB on that AWP when they had Dafu on the lineup. But now bringing Christo forward, he's now AWPing and TMB's now back to a rifle. So I'm not sure with this kind of six-man lineup whether we still see TMB with the double AWP or kind of what's the plan there. But that's certainly something to keep an eye on, is whether the roles just continue changing with this lineup. But what a shutdown out towards CT. They had a great read on that for AGF.
And within 2 of the lead established early by Crazy. Going a little bit further than this here. AGF, of course, have kept the economy on a very awkward basis for the T side. You can see the Deagles coming out for DemQ. Toxic also, I believe, with a Tech 9. M4 swinging from TMB. Seeing Sergiz taking the damage, but no kills. Nade up, sprays around the corner, eventually takes that man down, but TMB waiting out there in the open for a little bit too long. The Molotov missing from the T side as well does not take any major damage onto that CT camp. A 5-on-4 that works really well for AGF.
And they do so much damage. They get that opening pick, and rather than staying around Banana and allowing a possibility of a 4-on-4 to come out, they just back off. They give up the control over to Crazy. They know that they've been able to do a lot of damage in terms of spams and utility from the HEs. And for Crazy, you're in a really awkward position now. You're down a man, Psycho's incredibly low, so is Sensei. And you've got to think, it's just, how do you even come back from this?
I think the short answer is you don't, or you struggle to do so, with some very awkward sort of faces and trades and mistakes being made by AGF. FroZY just holding this angle here towards the long position, missing out against Toxic, expecting him to face from short. He actually just crossed entirely. Smoke's coming out from the T side. They're trying to blind off the CTs. Lookie's missing his sprays as well. They're here on short, taking some firefights. The AWP landing dangerously close towards Lookie's head, and Psycho takes him down, sprays through blind on Christo. His own AWP, 15 seconds being pressured by bullets flying, and Crazy have somehow forced their way onto the A bomb site.
I've no idea how they found this. There's been a couple of sloppy sprays back and forward from the AGF camp, but Crazy, they are now in a man advantage, and AGF are saving. I cannot believe Crazy won this round, Jay. It looked like they had no chance. The crossfire was being established on the side. They had the long presence to catch off Psycho. Oh my goodness. How did AGF lose that?
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Like the thing you mentioned there, the main reason why they lost it was because of sloppy sprays. Like, you know, looking in the back of pit, like he should have been able to land on at least one of those players on the short position. He had like 2 or 3 faces where he could have taken headshots, and just none of those bullets connected. Like you can see the HP numbers right now. Those were the exact same HP numbers by the time they entered. Like, just, I don't know what happened there, but AGF had like a bit of a brain fart moment, and they're going to continue losing the lead to Crazy. They're going to continue extending it, a force back coming through from the CTs, because they need to do something quick.
Yeah, look, they absolutely do, and it seems like Banana Control is actually working really nicely from them, so I'd like to see them continuing with that. Not only maybe taking control, but at least getting that utility out, making damage, and not giving Crazy immediate control. And, well, that's what they've done in the early round. Their utility usage has been fantastic so far. The HG fighting too.
And FroZY turning around on Toxic, getting aggressive from the apartments to try and trade it back, but the damage done towards the mid push, and the nades placed perfectly against the T side. Psycho up to take FroZY down here. Sensei's going to make his way in with the bomb from the apartments. They've established mid-control, so Christo now knows he's alone. Typing off, Psycho pushes him and takes a 2K. Back to a 2-on-2, and they found the A-bomb site again.
Psycho, like, are you even human? What was that second kill coming through? He gets taken down incredibly low, but in the 2 versus 2. Now, there is a kit on Netric to work with, but for Crazy, we've seen them in these positions before, and they just need to peek on each other's contact.
Nade from Psycho on towards short, hoping to do some damage, hoping to return with the HE kills that they got early on. here for AGF. Time is ticking. There's only one kit. They've not checked mini pit, not all the way. And Psycho is going to be allowed a 3K. Trade from TMB. Got to get Sensei in the back of the site. Not reading the right positions once again. And Crazy steal another round away from AGF.
And you can certainly see that. I don't want to say that Crazy are reading the game incredibly well, because AGF is setting themselves up really nicely. They're finding opening picks, they're finding damage, the rotates are looking very good, but when it just comes down to the individual aim in the executions to that A-bomb side, you can clearly see a difference. You can clearly see the raw aim mechanics of Crazy over AGF, at least in the site takes.
Oh, double nades all the way. TMB to 53 HP, and of course it isn't eco, but you know that was their main sort of contact position from the CT camp. Nades to respond from the CTs they're not nearly as effective here. Demq does tank one to the head, but 77 HP versus 53. These are now the apartments control. Frozev and Christo peek in. Frozev goes down. Christo takes a lot of damage for his trouble. Demq is low HP. He can fall to the CZ pretty easily, but the AWPs that cover him off, and Sensei gets his 5-on-3.
He did miss that first shot, but he's not going to miss the second. And unfortunately for the Pistols, they are finding a little bit of damage, but no kills are coming through. And for Crazy, this should be then going up 8-3, unless the CTs can somehow make some magic here at B.
Spamming bullets down, and Crazy are just evading them, rotating back to A because they've realized that the rotation and the two players that remain are over towards the B stack, so, you know, why bother? Orb does get taken down, so they can recover 2 rifles off of this, and indeed they do. AK on one, AWP on the other, but now's the time to save here for AGF. I mean, they will have a buy in the next round, but to have a little bit of free weaponry might be able to benefit them a bit more, and yeah, they're falling back to T-spawn as a result of this. Plant secure, we've got one player creeping in from Mexico. Netric does read it, can't take down Demq on 8 HP, and if Lucky loses this one here, this is going to be devastating to the CT camp. He does get a headshot on towards Munman, and 2 more players to take. He's going to take an aggressive face with a knife out towards mid. What is that, Lucky?
He wants to get that orb, but just save, just hide, like... You've got 2 players. Why are you trying to take aggressive fights like that? Yes, Jay makes you made a really good point. The fact is they will get a buy into the next round, but considering how much momentum that Crazy have at the moment, it would help you so much to have some money in the reserve.
And finally, a tactical pause coming through for AGF. And, like, you know, what's being said in this camp right now? What is going through their mind? What conversations are they having what are they going to try and do from here? Like, they've lost a half.
Yeah.
They're still 5 rounds down. They can make up the difference here if they pick things up. But, like, you know, what are the adjustments they need to make?
I certainly think they need to get the AWP to find a little bit more impact. Like, Christo's finding opening kills, don't get me wrong. But outside of when they get a 5-on-4, it seems like the AWP's not doing anything. Like, it's not in the right position to find impact. So you've got to think for AGF, we need to lock it down on the executions. We are finding early impact in terms of opening kills and in terms of utility damage, but we're not holding it down in the site executions, and they need to drill that through, that we need to work on our positioning and our crossfires being set the aggression towards Banana. Huge damage going down to Toxic, and the T's, well, they just fall back.
TMB forced to reload, so gets a perfect chance to punish that kill. No, Netric gets the headshot on him. I think he used his teammate as a wallbang. The 5-on-4 scenario, and again, the opening frag has gone the way of the CT camp. But how many times have Crazy come back from this position or worse, you know? Like, it seems like the opening frags in the early rounds are going great for AGF, but it's the mid rounds and the executions where they struggle.
And they've certainly realised that a lot of the time we haven't really seen many B hits coming out from Crazy, at least towards the mid and end round, and that's why they're rotating a 4-man stack over at this A-bomb side. This is probably one of the best chances yet that AGF have of closing out a gun round.
And Crazy going to try and get out of the apartments and look towards this banana and B control. They've got Netric here with an M4. No AWP to contest this. When Christo was playing this position, when Netric was playing with his AWP, Jump face from the M4, and he knows exactly how to play this. Just smoke down, don't even bother taking another face here. They're running out of time for the teams, but this is where the pressure can really start to bolster for the Ukrainian side. Smokes up, Molotovs down, AK peeking in for Demq. And Netric with the M4 ready to receive. And further incendiaries out. Demq spotted and sprayed. Cycles at the end of that smoke. Crystal's going to get tagged up 5 versus 3 still to the favor of the CT camp. Sensei pushes in with the bomb. Him and Toxic get picked. And they take apart the defensive again to get a plant.
They're running through a Molotov. They're running out of time, but they have to try and get that bomb across. So much damage is done to Sensei and Toxic, and in a 3-on-3, this is a massive advantage to the retaking side.
They're going to go aggressive as well. TMB has no idea they're out here. 2 players to line up. Psycho's going around this corner. Awkward shots to connect Psycho. Well, Sensei does fall, but Psycho gets that trader return. Not quite the second one towards Lucky, but Toxic has had so much time stalled for him. Expecting Lucky to make his way into the bomb site, and they do overwhelm. Onto the defuse. There's no kit though. Do they have time for this? They don't! Oh my god, AGF! Oh, just when you thought they had something going their way, the aggression was a long con from CR4ZY.
Now, I slap my forehead when sometimes I see some of these plays from CR4ZY. The fact, most teams, if they get smoked or they get mollied towards Banana, they'll just wait. They'll wait for it to dissipate, then they'll go. But CR4ZY are like, nah, let's just go. Let's just run through the flames. And the way they establish crossfires with one another is just so perfect. You can see how drilled these guys are on the crossfires for the T side. And again, AGF, the sight holds, the retakes, it's all a struggle.
It's a common sort of story in this one. They can't seem to find the adjustment again to try and make those mid rounds and late rounds work for them. And again, I don't know what you do to change that, because they have struggled throughout the course of this entire matchup. It just looks to get worse from here. The buy is looking so awkward, that SMG on TMB. CR4ZY in such a good position to take this map away.
They really are. I can honestly say they get double digits in this first half. They're probably, you know, GG's map victors. Because AGF are just not finding response, and CR4ZY, they're playing at a very high level at the moment. And again, it's the opening advantage for AGF. But you've got to think, at least from us, Jay, we're still expecting a round victory for CR4ZY.
Just wait for the train. That's all you got to do. Just hold on and wait for the trade. Sergey's at the edge of the smoke here on the Banana players. A majority of players here to Banana at the moment for CR4ZY. Again, the smoke's down towards Cross and Coffins. Sergey's going to try and make his way in here. 20 seconds to the clock. The M4 in the back lines. The M4 out towards the cross position. They're running this time pretty low, so it could be an opportunity for AGF here, especially if Netric gets himself to pick Sensei and Psycho respond, but Psycho's the last man left here. 7 seconds, and it looks like he's going to have to secure this bomb point against TMB here with the SMG. Sprays around the corner. And finally, a competent defensive coming out from the CT side.
And that's a really great hold coming out from AGF. The rotates come in incredibly quickly. We saw a fake from Sergis over towards the A-bomb site, seeing if he could pull any rotates over from B and just have a single player there. But for AGF, they've got 2 players. They shut it down. Great utility usage towards the end of the round. And considering how many rounds CR4ZY are going up, they don't have the economy going into round 14. So it's just going to be pretty much Glocks. And, well, this should be a pretty easy cleanup coming out for the Danes.
I mean, don't hold your breath.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% certain in that particular regard, but CR4ZY currently played into the apartments out towards mid. The AWP of Christo watching for the long control. Blocks out to rush forward onto the B bomb site. Shots and sprays missed again from the contact short plays. And Psycho overwhelms Froslev. Netric and Lucky there to clean up though. Dropping that bomb, leaves the last man in the apartments. 3 kills for Netric. And there it is, 5 for AGF to recover this half at 6 rounds on the CT side. The rebuys coming through from Crazy. Should see the AKs coming back to receive them.
It's still not great, actually, this buy. That round where it was a 1-on-3 and we saw TMB rushing around from the Coffin's position to deny that bomb actually helps AGF a lot in the long time. You look at the round going into 15 and, well, there's only 2 Galils up for the Crazy side, backed up by 3 AKs. And it seems like for AGF, they're going back to trying to take this banana control, but for Crazy, they're going quite quickly to the apartments.
Also quickly, they're looking at the spray through on the wallbang position. Flashes over the M4 of Lucky, spraying through, getting DemQ down. FroZY follows suit on the crossfire. CR4ZY will catch him off, and Lucky drops that bomb. So suddenly Sensei is left alone as Psycho falls off screen to a HE from TMB. Sensei will find himself one good frag, but with the bomb out in the open, with the CTs now set up for a bit of a crossfire here from the short and apartments position. The third man going to join him from long and the library area. And they know where Sensei is. They've heard those footsteps. He hasn't moved out to the bomb site, otherwise he would have found the bomb plant. Almost spotting Netric there on the quad area. Good spray to do damage, but it's not enough. So TMB will take down the last. And there it is. 6 to the AGF board. And finally turning things up towards the end of the half. But man, did that look really, really suspect during the actual, main brunt of the half rounds.
Yeah, look, it certainly did. And you've got to think for Crazy, if they can just work on finding that opening pick on the T side, imagine how strong they would be, because they were winning so many rounds in that first half in 4-on-5 deficits, even with players being low. So it certainly seems like for AGF, they were stronger in the early stages of the round, but it was that mid and late round where they really started to struggle. Now we swap halves, now we swap sides. And Crazy, if they can get off to a good pistol victory, if they can get some momentum going in this second half, they can start to run away with a lot of these rounds.
Here we go, second half going live between Crazy and AGF, and you can see the early frags going the way of the Danes. Toxic, first casualty out towards that mid control. DemQ's the only man left on A. Sensei and Co will start pushing and trying to provide support from the backline to the flank area. He needs a good kill, but he does not get it. So plant to be secured in a 4 versus 3 scenario. Crazy having a fuse kit on CR4ZY and challenging out to the apartments here is where things can be won and lost, especially as TMB gets CR4ZY. So the defuse out of play. Sensei and Psycho running out of ammo here towards the long control. The Glock going to try spam through, take him down. Sensei is somehow winning out the HP advantage, but as Psycho falls, he's the last man left, and this is going to be an easy 7th for AGF.
And they actually waited quite some time to go for that bomb plant. They just wanted to see if they could force Crazy into making any mistakes, over-aggressing into some of these angles. And, well, they did a really great job of doing so. AGF just holding a pretty strong defensive at that A bomb site. Okay, well, this could be their opportunity to get back into the game, Jay.
Well, for dissolve the CT half, that's kind of what they need to here. Sensei, we got one more headshot back there. I imagine those two should go. Okay, no, FroZY's going to be alive, no worries here. 3 HP though, it did get kind of hairy for him. Yeah, 7 to the T side board, Crazy, and they're going to force invest into the second round of the half here is the question. Obviously, we'll see the buy coming in from the T's, and it looks like they want to go for rifles early on the CT cap.
Yeah, and Crazy, they say, you know what, it's all right, we've got a bit of a lead. We don't really need to invest the rifles, or invest the force buy, I should say, going into round 17. They'll get the rifles up into the following. And you've got to think for these USPs, 1 kill or 2 kill at most. They do have a flashbang. They've already used those. Everything's coming through. And they all peek out, the USPs, doing a fair bit of damage, but they find an opening kill.
And Christo down. Mac 10 facing him for Netric. Better swap out to that AK in a moment. Recovered by Lucky instead here as falls back out position, but Toxic starts peeking in from the apartments, barely evading presence against the T side line, and wrap all the way around to the T stairs. might catch Netric off guard here. He'll hear the footsteps, and they're going to counter-rotate back into the B bomb site. They stacked in A, they got that opening kill. AGF should realize now there's going to be a lot less presence on the B bomb site, or at least that should be the theory at this stage. Smokes down towards Cross and Coffins. The MAC-10 going to deal with one USP in the back line here. The main force pushes forward, 2 players left standing. The USP in the back line, back behind Noobbox, Demq. What can he do here? There's so much presence around him, apparently not much. They do pick things apart, AGF losing 1 player, but able to get his rifle back, therefore maintaining the economy as we move to their 8th round.
And look, that round looked pretty good, I would say, from AGF. Yes, they took a fair bit of damage onto Lucky and Christo went down, but all in all, they played as a unit. It didn't really matter if they were running into a stack or not. They made sure that they were backing each other up. And, well, that round from Crazy didn't get too crazy. They will be able to get away with a single kill, limiting the economy slightly. But going into the next, Jay, this is where it gets all important. The first rifle round of the second half.
And the rifles to come out here is the important stuff here for Crazy as always. I'll take a quick moment to see how the loot bet odds have shifted. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Favor to Crazy at the start of the map now. Favor to AGF as we go into the second half. And again, if you want to get involved with the multipliers, of course, the best way to do so is through our betting partners and loot bet. €100 bonus to claim on your deposit by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel and get yourself involved with all the matches here at Multivibes. The AK's in, the MAC-10 out for Netric, the nades on. Going to get pushed into the stack position. Incendiary's out to do a little bit early damage to the HP numbers.
Look at the difference that Crazy do absolutely no damage to the banana presence. And well, AGF, they will go for an apartments pop here. Quick out of the gate. Great opening kill coming onto Lucky. And it's really all down to Sensei on the side to defend 1. Can he follow up with any more? He needs backup. And unfortunately, he just hasn't come in time.
Overwhelmed by AGF, 3 versus 2 now. 2 CTs up for a retake if they decide to go for it. But based on their positions, it looks like they're going to save this one. And indeed, they are. And the overwhelming force that Crazy brought to their T side is going to come out just as good for AGF here in the second half. 9-all as the Danes try and recover, and they'll recover pretty decently.
Things are looking much better now for AGF. This is, what, 6 rounds in a row from them, if you take into account at the back end of the last half. And this could be an opportunity. Crazy, I'd like to see them take a tactical. Going into the next round, they need to think, right, what can we change up? What can we try and do over towards Banana? Because for AGF, that was a big success element over towards Banana, at least in the beginning of the round.
Nine all again. The rifle saved from Crazy should see options. Is it going to be a full-blown buy here, though? Looks like a half buy instead from the CTs that went down. Upgrade pistols. Smokes out, flash in from Psycho. Of course, the full-blown rifles and setup here from the T side. So down in the mid defaults here, going to try and isolate the kills alongside TMB pushing up. Not catching any presence, but catching the first kill from Froslev on short. Now it's all left to Toxic on the A side defensive, and Lucky's ready to shut him down with his back turned. The timing could be awkward. They will gain A site control.
And this is looking pretty simple coming out from AGF, just, you know, going straight into the A bomb. But hang on a minute. Okay, that bomb gets dropped. This is now a 4-on-4. They can rotate all their players over. Toxic has done a great job so far. Can he find another kill?
What?
The CC's tapping away, and he's able to get 2, Jay.
Lucky does find the trade, and TMB gets Sensei at the end of the smoke, so the pistol's doing quite the work. Psycho still on site. Will he and Sergiz go for the retake? It may not be that far out of the realm of possibility. And a big smoke, a big gap to the right-hand side of that smoke. Sergiz grabs an AK. I think he might consider the save from here. Psycho can get to the other AK in the boiler area, then be a pretty good pickup. Just conceding the round off the back of that with upgraded weapons going through towards the next rifle buy. And yeah, that seems to be the plan from Crazy. This will end up being a 10th, however, for AGF as they claim the lead back from Crazy, one that they should have had for a while to come. A very good holdout from the CT pistols. I mean, credit where it's due there.
Absolutely. I mean, considering the round that they had, you know, they had, what, 2 saved-in rifles, they had a couple of upgraded pistols. To get away with 2 AKs and 2 kills is fantastic, to say the least. But it's unfortunately not around just yet, and there it is. That's the pause that I was talking about. Make sure that they need to think about what's going on. They need to think about their weaknesses at the moment, the positives from AGF. And Toxic does a great job in that last round with the CC around Boiler. And you've just got to think, maybe see if they can find some banana control. See if they're able to just use their utility and force the issue. They need an opening pick on this CT side.
We've got a second tactical timeout in a row here for the Crazy side. It's taken quite a while to get back into this one. Now the AWP out on Sensei, seeing if they can get the opening frags here. As you mentioned, they need those opening kills. The AK is out across the AGF board, means that they can't contest this from range. They'll tap to heads, or otherwise get up aggressive with the automatics. Sensei taking his face out towards the mid control, facing away from flashes and nades. 2 of them coming down to the second mid in the apartments area. Bracket's going to be uncontested by the T-side forces, and Demq's going to get the hell out of the apps area as a result. CR4ZY opening frag on TMB, catching the kill over towards the banana face. Meanwhile, the A-side face from Frostlev in the charge, seeing Demq, the incendiaries, will force them back from their advanced angles, but they still have mid control. And
they're going to rotate a 4th player over to this A-bomb site. Crazy at the moment are in a really great position. They've got the AWP out towards bomb. They've got the rotators in, but the trade comes back, and the trades go successfully for the T side.
1 player left in the apartment, spray through. Toxic will get Christo on the way back out. CR4ZY is left alone here in a 1-on-2 scenario. Frostlev and Lucky, 2 contenders here on the defensive. Smoke down, landing much better from AGF as opposed to the last round. That big gap at the right-hand side can't be exploited by CR4ZY. He's got a smoke, a flash, and an incendiary of his own. So how is he going to get to this bomb site? How is he going to break in against AGF? He's got 1 player on site, 1 player at pit. Smoke starts to clear. Time is ticked well far away, and his facing against Frostlev will end with him losing his life. So 11-9, AGF so far so good. Not a single round lost here on the T side.
And for the youngsters on the Crazy side, it's certainly going to be a difficult task to bring this back. They were up 9-3. They had great momentum on that T side. Things were looking really great, and they just haven't been able to stop AGF. It seems like the Danes have really come into their own. They're looking a lot more comfortable. Round 21. It's the forced investment for Crazy, and it means they're going to have 3 from Masters.
A spray from Netric straight out to that mid position and take out the first player of Sensei. And Crazy trying their best to catch them off guard here, trying to deny the 5th in a row. Sorry, 6th in a row, I should say, from AGF. And Christo around the corner against Demq, tagging him up, spraying him down. Demq does get the kill, actually, so it's a 4-on-4 situation. Flash from Netric will try and allow them to enter from the apartments. Lucky straight out and about. Got to check that mini pit position where player's actually going to peek out instead. Toxic gets out towards short, keeps himself alive for the moment, but only for a moment. Him, CR4ZY, and Demq are quick to fall back and the bomb plot to be received. AGF, I mean, they are susceptible to trades here. Psycho could clutch a 1 versus 3.
It's too difficult of tasks, honestly. Like, yeah, he's going to get information that some of them are low, but there's just no way Psycho can go for this. See if he can pick up that AWP of his teammate of Sensei. I think that's what he was trying to find. I'm not sure if the T side got rid of it over a wall or something, but it's certainly not there. And for AGF, you've got to think, just they've got so much momentum, they've got so much money in the bank, and for Crazy, things are getting out of hand pretty quickly now. And for both of these sides, it seems like it's all T at the moment. Both teams struggling on City side.
This is good news for AGF. Last time they took on Crazy, their CT side was enough to basically win them the game, but it was the T side that went undefeated against the Crazy Camp. They scored 5 in a row to turn that 16-4 over to their favor. And right now, it seems like it was all down to their T side results. Tactical coming out from Crazy to try find something on the defensive half. The buy-up will look awkward if they do decide to go for it here. M4 for Psycho. It's the only weapon they can save him from that last round. If they had the AWP, then maybe they could have got a couple extra options, but it's going to be pistols, Kevlar, lack of utility, a kit out for Psycho, but nothing massive coming in from Crazy.
It's just a lot of players going very quiet for this Crazy side. We saw in that last round, Sensei wanted to try something different and got very aggressive with that AWP and just got punished immediately as soon as he peeks out from mid. And for Crazy, look, we're seeing change-ups. We're seeing repositions being made. We're seeing over-rotations to the A bomb site. But it just seems like the defensive hold at the moment, not really finding a lot. Even opening kills has been a massive struggle for them. And for AGF, just the slow walk into brackets looks like it's going to come out.
Psycho on Froslev kicks things off. That's a good start from the only M4 they have in play. Christo will take a trade. Still got 3 players all in all stacked to this A bomb site, putting the M4 there as well. They do get Sensei, and they know Psycho's still in play. How is Toxic going to deal with this hit? I was going to go for a bit of a boost up here on Psycho's part, but he's just going to watch the apartments backed up on the barrels. And a 4-on-3 with the third man rotating to the A bomb site. AGF going to continue their A campaign. They could walk into the stack, but they start to think better of it.
And they can just leave a single lurk of maybe Lookie over to the apartments and just rotate into B, and they'll get some information pretty quickly that this B bomb site's open. And for Crazy, well, they're just stacking A. Hang on, that bomb from Christo, if they over-aggress out through brackets, that bomb could go down.
Oh no, Psycho. He's got so much potential right here. He checks it, the spray comes better, and Sergiz does drop that bomb, and now they have to hold off the mid-control here. Backstab coming in from Lookie could find them. They've got an M4, an AK. Toxic is going to get the Deagle towards the underpass and try and contest against it. Edge of the smoke. Stuffy is going to get isolated, but they have no idea where this guy is. Netric checks it, fortunately for them. AGF seconds away from disaster there. That was a very awkward position to put that bomb.
So I'm guessing what they did, considering that Lookie was still in the apartments and that the bomb from Christo was around the brackets position, they were going to fake B and then go A. But I just think that's overcomplicating things. They had a 4-on-3. They should have just worked together as a unit, and they very nearly get punished for that big mistake. Double orbs coming out for Crazy. This is the first time we've seen it from actually either team.
The buy-up's coming in from Crazy at long last. Going to see the double orb setup coming in. Sergiz with his out to Banana. Got Sensei on the short position on the A-bomb site. Much more standard split and setup here from the CT camp. That orb of Sergiz so tempted to fire through the broken wall. Could have landed a tag. Aiming high, could have got the headshot on TMB, but so far his utility challenge is, and finally the opening kill goes the way of Sergiz. Netric overextending there to Banana.
It's been a very long time since we've seen an opening advantage go the way of the Crazy side, but they need to capitalize on it now. Playing quite passive at this B bomb side, they're still able to hold on to a fair bit of utility. And for AGF, they've got to make their options here. Again, very far spread out on the default across the map. They've got a lot of information and a lot of players in that information. And for AGF, is this going to be a fake to the B bomb site and wrap back to A? Very similar to what we saw in that last round.
Could well be. They're only going to rotate back out of Banana, and that's a bad call. There's 3 players, and Froslev struggling to get the picks back, to get the trades together. Sensei and Toxic with those 2 picks on him and Lookie. Christo and TMB, Incendiary's back. TMB drops, and all that's left is Christo. I'm sure they heard those footsteps. I'm sure they know what's going on. If not, they've got 13 seconds to just make sure he doesn't get a bomb plant, and even then go for a retake if he does. And a great hold off there from Crazy. AGF, again, as you mentioned, overcomplicating things in that scenario. You've all seen the last man, Christo barely getting away alive. 4 HP though, if he gets hunted. Looks like he'll get away alive for this one, but the first conceded in this half back to Crazy. AGF as I mentioned, just way too much. We're doing way too much here.
They don't need to. We've seen how much success they've had on the T side when they work together, when they default out, but overthinking things. You know, they try and fake out to the B bomb side. No rotations come out from Crazy. There's 3 players at A, and will they just walk into the stack? 13-10. That could be the opportunity for Crazy to really claw back, but AGF, they've got so much momentum, even with losing that last round.
Yeah, they've got the buy potential here, and they're going to buy up in the next round and a force up if necessary, because the money is just so built right now for the T. So opportunities are bound to shut down Crazy and reset them, but it's going to be the opening kill going the way of the CTs again. CR4ZY this time aggressive to Banana, catches one player, and then catches a peek on a second kill. So 5 on 3 already for the CT side.
Great advantages coming up, and AGF, they just want to simply commit to this B bomb site. All 3 players are here towards Banana position. There's 2 defenders, and for AGF, they need to make sure they're finding these opening kills, because this AWP has been able to strike on 2 so far from CR4ZY.
Shot gonna miss out here.
It's Molly.
CR4ZY will still smoke down that dark position to sell him on the idea that he's going to be there. If they check that angle, they're not going to check on the pillar. They'll still be there with the AWP ready to shut them down, at least for that 1 kill. Lucky rounds the corner. Psycho's there on the first boost. CR4ZY's going to back him up as he takes out FroZY, but Netric left alone. 1 versus 5 for him. He'll find 1. May even find 2. The spray is awkward, and there's plenty of CT backup behind that smoke at cross. He'll have to be forced on a reload. Bomb out of his control, 17 seconds to the clock, and again, AGF are going to get overwhelmed by the sheer B and Banana presence that Crazy had there with the AWP. CR4ZY is getting 3 kills all in all on the entry and defensive, and Netric forced to plant. None of the CT's close, forces a kill, not even going to get that much there. Sensei drops in, and now we're within 2 for Crazy on the lead.
And I've got to be honest, I don't ever remember kind of seeing double AWPs come out often for the Crazy side. They are a team that don't really run it very often, and it certainly seems that CR4ZY is finding a lot of impact over towards this Banana position. A great defensive hold coming out from Crazy. And now it's starting to get a little bit interesting. We saw them go up 9-3. A massive comeback comes through from AGF. And now we're getting very close to a tied-up scoreline. 2 rounds of a deficit. A lot of nades down towards Banana. And if they want, they can try and take control, because for AGF, they're not contesting at the moment.
Flashes over, FroZY going to make his way fast into the short control. No second flash around that corner though, so Sensei and Demku can quickly find the picks on the T side. Christo takes a lot of damage, does find a trade, but it's Toxic against Netric. That damage is going to be contextualized in a much worse scenario for the T side camp. TMB holds off against Toxic and jump around this corner. The AWP still there on site. Does get CR4ZY for a second pick. Repositions as well. The back still turned towards Psycho as he peeks in and does take the man down. So good efforts there from TMB, but it just was not enough. And AGF running straight into a brick wall defensive posted by Crazy. They're going to take their second tactical.
And look, TMB made it expensive, certainly, but you're right. They ran into a brick wall there. It seemed like it was some very good one-on-one fights coming out from Crazy. And you've got to think that there is no money for the AGF side. The odds at loot bet again. I mean, I've backed Crazy from the get-go, and I look at this and I think, right, this can't be a buy coming out from AGF. It has to be a half buy at most. We should be going to 13-13. Now, if you do want to get those odds, you can head on over to our fantastic betting partners of LootBet in the links down in the Twitch description. Up to 100 euros on your deposit and 10 free CSGO spins, offering some great bonuses for all our lovely viewers. But for AGF, Jay, I'm now getting worried for them.
I'm getting worried for them. This is going to have to be... Oh, the nades and the AWP from CR4ZY! Sit down, boys! Sit down, boys!
Now that's what I'm talking about. Was that round quick? Oh
Man,
my
what
goodness.
a knock to the mentality as well for AGF.
Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. And I bet Crazy are hyped after that. So much damage from utility. A triple nade kill coming out. Something you don't see very often. Oh, look at the aggression.
Demke is going to find the opener. Frostlev at least finds the trade, so it's not going to be massive coming out from the CT forces, but you can see how far pushed up Crazy are going to get here. T-Banana. Psycho and Sergey is moving in. Frostlev to the apartments will tap up the AK towards mid, will ensure that no one peeks out from the CT camp. An aggression from Crazy establishes map control. AGF can't challenge from this position.
AGF are actually in a pretty good position at the moment, even though that Crazy have taken that banana control. They've been able to find a lot of map control for their side. Looked like he wanted to push quite aggressively into the apartments. Only 2 players here at this A bomb site, so it's an even split for Crazy. And you've got to think that, are they going to hold this setup? They are. This is a really strong crossfire from Crazy.
Psycho's going to take that first shot on the AWP with their back up and trade it.
Yeah.
Potentially protect it as well. I mean, if they pop out from the T-stairs, they're not going to assume that Psycho's there on the corner plate. So basically, like, unless they can find the flash in at the right moment, which they do, they could potentially just win this round outright for Crazy. And indeed, they do. Psycho and Sergis combining the AWP does get overwhelmed by Frostep, but he needs to get that bomb. 1 versus 2 now. 3 kills already to his name. Flashbang over towards this cross, can secure bomb plant.
A 1 versus 2 from Frostlev. This is still very much doable. Molotov coming out into the default position, gonna make him reposition. Sensei and Toxic, what can they find in this 2-on-1? They need to make sure that they're checking all the angles together and working together, making sure that synchronization's on point.
And Frostlev on for the ace here. Backs down to the main entrance. Sees Toxic sprays through, runs straight into the Deagle. And Sensei wins it out for Crazy. What could have been a fantastic clutch for the man. Just a little bit too itchy, a little bit too, what's the word? Overzealous, I think is the right word for it. But either way, shut down on the AGF side. Crazy going to take their lead right back away.
Oh, okay, Jay, here we go. That was such a strong hold coming out from the AWP and the M4 towards that banana position. Frostlev did make it very expensive and almost win it out, but it just was not enough. 4 kills to the man. And going into round 28, this could honestly go either way. It is so back and forward at the moment, but the lead is there for Crazy, and their lead's building.
And it's starting to get scary for AGF. They were 13-9 up at one point, for back of about 7 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
Momentum just feels like it's been stopped dead in its tracks. How do AGF recover this? How do they get the engines rolling again?
It looks like they're going to try and pop in through Banana and get that early map control. Now, really what they need is an individual to see if they can just find a bit of a lurk, see if they can find some information. Now, we haven't really seen any triple man setups at this CT side over at B. This time around, Crazy have got a bit of a gut feeling here.